Hello friends, it's Jayma Malme, and today I'm going to be putting together a 2-page scrapbook layout. I'm going to fit 8 photos on this page, and I'm using the new Change of Scenery kit that's available for National Scrapbooking Month. So as you can see, I've got a lot of outdoor photos, and if you know me, I do a lot of outdoor scrapbooking. We love hiking and all that. And this was a weekend that we had a lot of friends in town, and I want to point out that we've got a lot of different colored greens here. We've got the kind of dark greens from the pine trees, and then some bright greens in the grass. It was really sunny, and just some various colors of green. And I really liked how this collection worked with that. So let's set those aside and I'll show you a look at this collection. So here is the sticker sheet, and there are some really great stickers here. A lot of title options and little things that you can tuck in to create embellishment clusters, which I know I'm going to do. Now let's take a look at this paper. This one is my absolute favorite, and I love that it's got that dark pine green, and then it's also got this brighter green. So I'm thinking that this is the paper I want to use so that I bring in all of those greens in my photos. And then this is the other side of that paper, these beautiful clouds, and it even has this like watercolor texture to it, like a watercolor paper. It's really, really pretty. So I'm not sure I'm going to use much of the cloud paper because I just love this so much and I want to use that. Unfortunately, you can't get this paper separately. It's only available in the kit, and I'm going to show you what else comes in the kit. It's awesome. So I'm going to be very careful and use this paper sparingly. This is a really great pattern that can go any which way. Everything's pointing different directions, and it's got lots of different icons that are also in the stamp set and the sticker sheet. This looks like it's almost like little bird prints, so that's kind of cute. And then this one has the different colors of green also, but it's a little bit busier pattern. So this would be fun to cut these little postage stamps out, or cut within the postage stamp and just cut the rectangle out too to create some embellishments for your page. And this is the other side of that, that pretty burlap color. There's also some cardstock that comes in the pack that you'll need to put together the workshops, and I'll show you those workshops. And when I say workshop, I mean it doesn't have to be something that you put together at a formal workshop. It's just a kit that has these layouts done for you. So you can just order these on your own and put them together on your own. It doesn't mean you have to do them as a workshop. But there are these really pretty paperboard pieces. I absolutely love these little borders. This one popped out, so I'll show you. I think these are really pretty. That'll be great for some hiking photos. And then there's these little kind of leafy borders, some little tags. This says do, and then there's some other title options that go with it. So there's go, see, do. So that could be a fun title. And there's these other little kind of paperboard, kind of a thick, this one seems like a cardstock, and then these ones are more paperboard, a thicker material. So those are fun. This one popped out here. So we got this little wood grain pattern. And then let me show you this stamp set because it really brings everything together. So here's the stamp set. You've got those trees, the mountains, the sun, this view, change of scenery. Some views are worth every step. I know I'm going to use a bunch of these on this layout, so I'm really excited about that. But let me show you those workshops. So hopefully you can see this without too much glare. This is my Close to My Heart website, and you're going to go up here to promotions and click on National Scrapbooking Day, because this is actually one of the kits that's offered for National Scrapbooking Day. Close to My Heart is putting on 2 days worth of Facebook Lives, putting together these workshops. And so you can get the bundle with all 5 workshops. This is the change of scenery one. I'll click on that in a minute to show you. There's this one called This right here that makes several 2-page layouts. I think they're all 3 2-page layouts. And then this one creates cards, this one creates cards, and then this one creates a mini album. So there's 5 different workshops you can get. I was instantly drawn to this change of scenery one, and let me click on that so you can see it a little bit better. So there is the kit, which you already saw close up. So here's layout number 1, and there's those pretty borders. So you can follow this exactly. The guide shows you exactly how to put it together, or you can do your own thing with the papers. I'm going to be loosely following the guide on another layout. So here's another one. I'm going to be loosely following this one because I really love this pattern paper, and I like how they have the torn edge on the top and going across. I'm just going to change it a little bit to fit my photos and my style. But those are the 3 workshop kits that are available. And you can even download the guide if you go down here. So it tells you a little bit about that Facebook Live. There's the celebration on May 5th and May 6th. And then you can download the guide right here, and that gives you the pictures of the layouts. Those are what we just saw. But then it also gives you the cutting instructions, and this is totally free. You could just follow this even if you don't order the kit. You could use other paper to create these same layouts, and it tells you exactly how to cut your papers so you can get everything cut ahead of time and just follow the directions to put together these 3 2-page layouts. So that's an option. I'm going to give you another alternative option to this layout right here. I'm using this as inspiration, but I'm not following it exactly. So let's go ahead and get started. Before I get started, I wanted to show you how I decided which sizes and orientations to print my photos. So I have these little photo placement cards that come in some of Close to My Heart's scrapbook workshop kits that are in their regular line. And I looked through my phone because I print on demand on my Epson PictureMate, and I feel like that gives me more control over what I print and the sizes I print, and I can print exactly for the layout I'm working on, and I love that. So what I did was I looked through my phone at the photos I wanted to print and kind of decided, okay, I think that would work as a 4x6. I think I want that as a 3x4. That's going to have to be landscape orientation. That's going to have to be portrait. And so then I pulled out the cards that I thought I would use, and I tried to make them work. So I had 2 group photos that I knew would have to be landscape orientation. And so I pulled those out and thought I could kind of stack them like that. Originally, in the inspiration layout, there were a lot of 4x6 photos like this, and then some 3x4, and so you didn't have a lot of height, probably so you don't cover up this beautiful paper. But I'm just going to have some of that height on one side, so I'm covering a little bit here. You'll still be able to see a little bit peeking around, and you'll still be able to see plenty over here. And I'm actually going to be cutting this too. So then I had this photo right here that was going to be a 4x6 landscape. I thought maybe that could go here. I had a bunch of possible 3x4 landscape. So I was trying to kind of figure out if I want them like as a grid. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to bring in some flip flaps because some of these 3x4s, I definitely want to use them, but they're not like a highlight of the trip or the star of the show. So with the flip flap, I can add 2 extra photos on top of my one. This is what it looks like right here. So you're going to have a photo on the top, a photo on the back, and what's on the top here is what's going to show on your layout. And then you'll put this on your layout, and this will flip up to reveal. So that's what I'm going to do, I think, with these photos. So then I'll have a line of photos here, and then I'll have it kind of spreading to have some height here. And this gives me an opportunity to have a long title because where we were on this hike was Breckenridge, and that's a really long word. So I want to have plenty of space, and I also want to have space for a cluster. So I think I want to have a little cluster here. I can fit one in this little nook here and then maybe here because I want to create that visual triangle. So that's what I'm thinking when I'm laying these out. So then I printed my photos, and as I did that, I thought, okay, this is the one I want to be on the top here. Here's my 4x4. And then these are the other 3x4s that are I like. They're really cute, but they just don't need to be highlighted. They can be tucked underneath on the flip flap. And then here is my landscape 3x4. Now I did crop this a lot from the original, and see how the boys are kind of walking this way. So I don't want to have them over here so they're walking off the page. I would rather actually have them here so they're walking into the page, but it just didn't really work out with my layout, so I'm okay with it being here so they're still walking into this page. And then here are my group shots. And what I did to keep in mind, this photo has so much bright green in the background. And so since this is bright green right here, I put this one on top so that it will be broken up. So actually, I think that it'll kind of draw your eye across and you'll see all this bright green down here, and then it'll draw you up to see this group photo here. And then this one is gonna go here. Now I know that I want to have photo mats. I usually add a white photo mat. I could actually cut these down by about 1/4 of an inch, and then these little photo placeholder cards could be my mat. And I do that quite often, but in this case I didn't want to trim these down. I wanted them to be the full 3x4. So I just matted, cut some cardstock 1/4 of an inch bigger, so it's 3¼ by 4¼ and I'm going to mat all my photos in white. So I do like that typically, and I'm actually going to set these 2 photos aside. This is the one I'm going to put on my layout, and then this is going to be on the top of the flip flap, and then this one will be underneath like that. So I'll set those aside, and we'll do the flip flap at the end. So now all the white is down, and I like the way that the photos pop off the white, but then they don't pop off the background. So let me try some pine cardstock. I think that the darker color of pine that's in here is gonna make these, yeah, that's really gonna help it pop off the page. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut mats for the rest of the photos. Okay, I think that's looking really good. I'm going to actually switch these 2 because I want my flip flap to be in the middle, and I might actually even overlap it a little bit, or maybe have it just raised up a tiny bit more. Regardless, I want to have that in the middle. My flip flap will lift up in the middle. I'm going to have my title, and I'm thinking I'm going to use this slim alphabet die set. This is actually retired, unfortunately, but I really like how tall and slim they are, so you can fit a long title. So I think that's going to work well there. If you don't have this set already, you can cut something similar on your Cricut. My friend Janice has used the Cricut Sans alphabet and just stretched it to be taller, and it still looks good even when it's stretched if you don't have this. But there's lots of other die sets and stamp sets on my website that you could use. They're just not tall and skinny like this. So I've gone ahead and cut those in 2 colors because I'm thinking I might want to offset it just a little bit. Let's see if that works. I was crossing my fingers as I cut every single one of them, hoping that it would work like it did in my head. You ever do that? You're like, I think this is going to work really well, and then cross your fingers and hope it does because you already put in all the work. So let's see. I think this is going to look really good. Another thing that you could do is cut like 3 of the pine color and stick them all together so it gives it some dimension. I'm really liking that, so I'm going to continue on with that.
Ooh, that looks really good. I love it. I decided actually not to cut my paper. I liked it just as the full background, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that, and that makes it easier for me. I left some space on either side of the title so that I could add my embellishments on the left, and then I wanted to stamp the tree from the stamp set on the right. So I'm just auditioning some different stickers from the sticker sheet. I already took the stick off of them with my anti-static powder tool, which I will show you how I do that at the end of this video. And I have some other stickers that I think I might use. I really like this wood slice that says out in nature, and I think that that works great for that little grouping there. I'm just doing a tiny little embellishment cluster up here in the top right because there's not a lot of space, but I do want the embellishments drawn up there. And if you're noticing, I'm already adding more than the 3 embellishment clusters I talked about because I really liked the trees and having the height of those above some of the photos. And so I'm just going to, as I do this, keep in mind to make sure everything is balanced. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue with these little tiny embellishments in the clusters that I have. And that blank space that's on the bottom left page is where my journaling is going to go, and I'm going to add a few more embellishments there as well. So these little tiny pieces are from those little paperboard and cardstock die cut packs or the, little die cut pieces. And I'm using the little tiny pieces in place of where I would add like gems or little small embellishments that I usually like mixing into my clusters. And I'm just making sure that I've got each of the colors represented in each embellishment cluster. Now I'm ready to do my stamping, and each one of Close to My Heart's stamp pads comes with that little foam piece. Sometimes I'll use the back of my Versamat, which is those black mats I'm working on, because those have a squishy surface as well. I love these Versamats, but I didn't want to lift up my page because my title isn't glued down. So I'm just using this little foam piece, and so you can definitely use that if you don't have a Versamat. So see how I did my little test stamp not on top of the foam, and I didn't get a very good image. So what that foam does is it helps give a little squish and give underneath your stamp to make sure you get a good impression. I decided that once I stamped the pine, it looked good, but I wanted a bit of a two-tone look. So I pulled out that avocado ink and then I rolled it generously in the pine. So there's just a little bit of that bright avocado ink in the middle. So I'm going to do that again here and then generously roll it and stamp it onto that little space that I have left for my title. I decided to do the stamping first before I glue down the title because I wanted the end of the title to basically butt up right next to the stamping, and then I can work my way backwards and add the other embellishments on the left so that they fit in the space that's left over. Now I'm moving this foam piece to the other page because I want to stamp this view, and I'm thinking I want to have it in Mocha ink. That's what I have out now. So I'm going to stamp it on this scrap paper again, which not only helps me practice my stamping because it can be daunting to stamp right onto your page, but it helps me see the color and what it will look like so I know that that's the color I want to stamp with. And then notice I'm holding it down for just a few seconds, letting that ink soak in, and that will also help you get a better impression. Through the magic of video editing, I now have everything glued down, and I'm going to work on my journaling. These are the journaling sticker strips, and I absolutely love them because they're really easy to just write out your story, and then you can snip them wherever you want them depending on how long you want your strips to be. So I decided that they looked a little bit plain on their own. I want to try out some stickers and see if I can kind of bulk up this area down here. So I have the view title, which could totally be a title. I'm sort of using it as a subtitle, I guess. And then I have this other wood chip or wood slice piece that's supposed to be journaling, but I'm going to strategically place it so you don't see the journal lines. That is the anti-static powder bag I referenced earlier, and I just kind of pounced it on the back, and that takes away the stick so I can move the pieces around without committing. So I've got those kind of layered up, and now I'm going to have these journal strips come out of the side of there, so it doesn't look like those little strips are just kind of hovering on their own, which there wouldn't be anything wrong with that, but it was kind of a big space for those to fit. So I wanted to just kind of make it a little bit more substantial. So you can see I'm just holding the strips up and kind of determining how long I want it to be, and then I snip it to that length and then tuck it under and hide that little journaling line. So super easy. I'm not going to show the whole thing. I just kind of wanted to show you how it works and how flexible it is. I will link these as well as all of the other products that I'm using today down in the description below. I'm adding a little bit of thin 3D foam tape to the back of this little subtitle here, and I also added it to the back of that other wood slice and the compass, just a few little pieces. And after I get this down, I start thinking, I think I need a little bit more of that natural wood color up in the top left. So I found another sticker that said My Happy Place, and I'm gonna snip off my, because it is my happy place, but it's all of our happy places on this day. And so I wanted it just to say Happy Place, and I'm gonna stick that right here. And I think that gives nice balance to the whole page. Let's take a closer look at how this has turned out, and then we're going to add that flip flap to the page protector. If you want to see still shots of this layout, including close-ups, then check out my Instagram and Facebook pages. I have those links down in the description below. So I'm just loving how this is turning out. Aren't these colors so pretty? I have lots of plans for using the rest of this paper pack. Hopefully I will get to them in the next couple of months. So here is my 3x4 flip flap. You can have it flip up or flip to the side, and the pack comes with some of the stick on the short side like this, and then some of the pack has the stick on the long edge. So I have one of them placed upside down so that it's right side up when you flip it up. I have the stick now folded back, and then I'm just going to attach it right to the page protector over the photo. I'm going to burnish it in with my finger, and then I'm going to fold it down and also kind of burnish that fold to make sure it's really good and creased and stays flat. These are really, really sticky, and I have not had any trouble with them coming off my page. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to hit that thumbs up. And if you'd like to see another hiking layout with flip flaps, then check out the video that's on screen right now. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.